going to be doing a review for you on these NYX matte bronzers. These aren't new. I think that they've had them in their line for several years now, if not at least the past couple of years. But I recently picked up a few extra shades. I had 2 of them previously and I love the texture of them, so I wanted to pick up the rest of the shades. So I thought I would show you swatches comparing all the shades. I know that when I picked them up, it was kind of just going in blindly, going off of the website, but I wanted to show you some swatches and tell you my thoughts on them. So as I said, they do have 5 shades. The first one in the collection is actually the lightest one and it's called Light. So this one is more on the pinky or red tone bronzer compared to the other swatches. I'm going to do a close-up of this one as well, but compared to the other swatches, it's this one right here. It's quite light but still shows up really well. Compared to the other 4, it does have a little bit more pink undertone. I think that this one would be really nice on someone with fair skin tones, so someone who is a little bit more lighter. It has a really nice pigmentation though, and it would probably show up really well if you want more of a natural bronze for someone who's a little bit more darker. The next one in the collection is Medium. This one is slightly darker than the light one, but a little bit more on the orange tone. I feel like it's just slightly darker than the light, not enough to really tell the difference between the two, but the undertones on this one is quite different from light. The medium one has a little bit more orange undertones, where the light one has a little bit more pink undertones, and you can really see that when they are swatched together. I have medium here and light right here. The next one in the collection is Deep. It's definitely one of the more darker ones of the entire collection, and it has the most neutral undertones compared to the rest. I still feel like it leans a little bit to almost that warm or orange undertone bronzer, but it is the most neutral out of the entire collection. So if you're looking for more of a neutral bronzer, I would still recommend this. So the next one is Deep Tan. This one is very similar to Deep. It's almost same level. I wouldn't say one is deeper than the other, but this one leans a little bit more orange tone, where the Deep one leaned a little bit more neutral. And when you put them next to each other, which I have here, you'll see that the Deep one, which is this one, has a little bit more of a pink undertone, but you really don't see that unless you're comparing the two of these. Deep Tan definitely has that more of an orange or like warm undertone. And the last one is Dark Tan. This is not necessarily the deepest out of the entire collection. I feel like when you compare Dark Tan and Deep Tan, Deep Tan, which was the one right before it, is a little bit more darker, but Deep Tan is a little bit more on the pink undertones. It reminds me of almost a deeper version of the light one, which had those pink undertones. When you compare Deep Tan and when you compare Dark Tan, you will see that it is a little bit more on the pink side. It looks a little bit darker in the pan, but when you swatch it, it doesn't look as dark. Overall, I really enjoy these bronzers. I wouldn't have purchased the other 3 if I didn't like the first 2. I feel like they pick up a lot of product on the brush really well, so they're not like densely packed, so you do have to keep that in mind. I put my brush in and I always have too much on my brush, so just really lightly tap the brush, but I think that that's almost a good thing, because some of these bronzers that are out in the market right now are so hard to pick up with your brush because they have that really packed texture. These are really nice, soft and smooth, and they pick up really nicely on the brush. I really enjoy the matte texture to them as well. It's not too matte and it's not too chalky. It blends really well, and I do really enjoy a matte bronzer, so I would really recommend these. Depending where you pick them up, I think you can find them anywhere from about $9 to $12, just depending if you're picking them up on the NYX website or if you're picking them up here in Canada. I know that they're a little bit more expensive in store in Canada, so it just depends, and sometimes I know that you can find them on sale, so definitely look out for a sale on these. I picked them up when NYX was having 25% off their entire website, so I felt like it was a really good time to pick them up. I think that they are a really nice option for a drugstore bronzer. Not a lot of matte bronzers are available at the drugstore, so I feel like it's a really good option. I would really recommend it, and it's kind of just personal preference on what color you would go for. This whole collection leans a lot more on the warm or pink undertones, so just keep that in mind. I probably would not recommend any of these to contour or sort of sculpt out the face because they do have that warm or pink undertone. If you've tried any of these NYX matte bronzers, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe because I will always have lots of reviews coming your way. And thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned.